My sisters and brothers, a reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, so many people were crowding together that they were trampling one another underfoot. Jesus began to speak, first to his disciples. Beware of the leaven, that is, hypocrisy of the Pharisees. There is nothing concealed that will never be revealed, nor secret that will not be known. Therefore, whatever you have said in the darkness will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be proclaimed on the housetops. I tell you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but after that can do no more. I shall show you whom to fear. Be afraid of the one who, after killing, has the power to cast you into the Gehenna. Yes, I tell you, be afraid of that one. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 small coins? Yet no one of them has escaped the notice of God. Even the hairs of your head have all been counted. Do not be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. My friends, the good news of our salvation.
Praise to you, O Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning, my sisters and brothers. Allow me to continue my story yesterday. If you have heard my homily yesterday about me, in a way, thinking of leaving the Society of Jesus because I realized that I don't want to go into this tedious 13 years of study in the Ateneo de Manila. I realized during that time that I have this fear of suffering. I have this fear of studying a long years of formation, and so I said to myself, I don't want to listen to the Lord anymore. And so I decided to go to my superior and said, I don't have a vocation in the Society of Jesus, and so I am leaving the Society of Jesus. But at the back of my mind, as I have said yesterday, sisters and brothers, I know deep inside me that I have really a vocation in the Society of Jesus. There is actually a duplicity in me. The external, or my word, is telling, I'm actually telling my superior that I don't have a vocation. And yet deep down inside me, my sisters and brothers, I can hear the Lord telling me that I am supposed to stay because God is calling me to become a priest. I cannot deny that during that time, my sisters and brothers, one of the things that I was actually avoiding when I decided that I don't want to become a priest, even if I know that deep inside me, God is calling me to become a priest, is that I don't want to go to prayer. I am always avoiding silence. I do go to retreat. I do go to my mass every day. But you know, my mind is actually totally closed, and I don't want to go to prayer because I know that every time I will go to prayer, the Lord is telling me that God is calling me to become a priest. But at the same time, there is also an assurance that I will be fine. Everything will be okay. Everything will go into the right direction. But because of my hard-headedness, because I don't want to suffer 13 years of studying, parang pagod na ako sa pag-aaral, I said no. And so I came to the superior, which on that time is Father Derps, no? And I said to Father Derps, Father, I decided to leave the Society of Jesus because I realized that God is calling me not here, but outside. Yung po yung sinabi ko. But, I said to Father Derps, my novice master, but I will go to the retreat first, the 30-day retreat, before I leave the Society of Jesus. After the retreat, I'm going to live. And here comes Derbs, in his wisdom, said to me, so you're planning to leave the Society of Jesus? Yes, Father. So why take the retreat? Live tomorrow. It's no point. There's no point of having that 30-day retreat if you have already made a decision. Live tomorrow. Get all your things tomorrow. Nung sinabi ko niya yung salitang, umalis na ako bukas, kinabukasan at hindi na ako mag-30-day retreat, bigla po akong natauhan. Sabi sa sarili ko, sabi ko, teka. Because I realized that at that very moment, when Derbs told me to leave the Society of Jesus, immediately the next morning, I realized the importance of my vocation. Nakita ko po yung aking kahalagahan ng aking bokasyon na meron pala akong isang bagay na iiwanan na napakahalaga pala. Na pilit kong itinatabi kasi parang ayoko na mapagod eh. Ayoko na magsakripisyo, mag-aral lang. 13 years, sisters and brothers, to become a Jesuit. But when Dirk said me, bukas kumalis ka na, bigla ako nagulat na yung aking palang pinaglalaban o yung gusto na ayoko nang mahirapan ay biglang nawala sapagkat at that very moment na nandun ka na sa isang punto na magdidesisyon ka sa buhay mo at alam mo na ang pagdesisyon iyon ay napakahalaga. Doon ko nakita yung halaga at inamin na napakahalaga ng aking bukasyon. And then I said, Derbs, sabi ko sa kanya, iisipin ko muna. Tumawag po sa akin si Father Derbs. No? Sabi niya, Willie, may bukasyon ka, natatakot ka lang. I realized during that time, my sister and brothers, that it is actually a reality. That the reason why I have this duplicity in me, or I am not true to myself, or I am not true to my vocation, is because I don't want to suffer anymore. Ayoko nang mahirapan. And so, I created a wrong selves, and I not became or true to my authentic self. I guess this is also the reason why in this gospel reading for today that we have read, my sisters and brothers, it started with the reality that there are so many people, in fact, thousands of people are following Jesus, trying to hear. And yet, in spite of those thousands of people, the Lord had decided to isolate or talk to the disciples and gave them warning. And the warning is, never ever fall into the sins of hypocrisy. Yung nabubuhay ka ng may dalawa kang buhay. Yung meron kang tinatawag nating duplicity. Yung alam mo, hindi tayo totoo sa ating sarili sapagkat mas pinili nating isipin ang ating sarili o mas pinipili nating isipin kung anong sasabihin ng iba. Sa totoo lang, sisters and brothers, during that time na nag-iisip ako lumabas, alam ba ninyo kung ano yung isa na pumipigil lang sa akin para wag akong lumabas? Although, alam ko, wrong motivation pa rin yun. Yung iniisip ko, pag lalabas ako, ano kayang sasabihin ng tao? Yung po yung nasa isip ko, hindi ko iniisip yung ano bang gusto ng Diyos. Ang iniisip ko, ano bang sasabihin ng tao? Hindi ko iniisip yung ano bang sasabihin ng Diyos. Sometimes, my sisters and brothers, this is also the reason why we have so many duplicities in our life. Meron tayong sinasabi na hindi natin ginagawa. O meron tayong nakatago sa loob natin na hindi nakikita ng tao, and we are projecting a false self, but we are not true to our authentic self. Bakit? Iniisip natin, mahalaga yung sasabihin ng ibang tao. At dahil doon, kahit alam natin kung ano yung dapat gawin, hindi natin ginagawa kasi mahalaga sa atin kung ano yung sasabihin ng ibang tao at hindi yung kung anong sasabihin ng Diyos. At doon tayo nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating duplicity. That's why the Lord said, warning, be aware. No? Marami po tayong takot, and realize, my sisters and brothers, that because of our fear, we are doing many lies in our life. Dahil sa ating takot, napakarami nating mga ginagawang kasinungalingan sa ating sarili, kasinungalingan sa ibang tao, kasinungalingan kahit sa Diyos. Why? Because in the end, our fear of people or what people will tell against us or about us is much more important than our fear of God. Nakakatakot nga po nawawala na po sa atin yung tinatawag nating takot sa Diyos. Mas natatakot tayo doon sa anong sasabihin ng tao. Mas natatakot tayo doon sa ayaw nating mahirapan. Mas natatakot tayo doon sa katotohanan na dapat nating harapin, na alam natin na medyo mahirap, medyo masakit, pero ito yung magbibigay ng kalayaan sa buhay natin. And so, what's the antidote against this yeast of the Pharisees or hypocrisy? Ano po ba gamot, no? sa pagiging hipokrito natin o hindi totoo sa ating sarili? Number one, according to our gospel reading for the day, it is very important for us to remember that nothing hidden will remain hidden. No? Yan po yung dapat siguro natin tatandaan na wala pong kasalanan, wala tayong itinatagong para sa ating sarili lamang na hindi mabubuko, na hindi lalabas. One of these days it will be exposed. And when it will be exposed, you will realize that you will lose everything. And yet we tried in a way to conceal or to hide our hidden sins. Because we don't want to be judged by other people or we don't want to be judged by God. But sometimes it is more on what we don't want to be judged by people and not by God. Because we have fear of people, not fear of God. But the Lord said in this gospel, remember today, walang kang lihim na hindi mabubuko. Lahat makikita ng Diyos. Sa totoo lang, wala naman po talaga tayong lihim na hindi alam ng Diyos Lahat. Lahat ng iniisip mo, lahat ng magagandang plano mo, lahat ng pangit mong plano, alam ng Diyos. Pero hindi natin pinapahalagaan kung ano yung sinasabi niya sa atin. Mas pinapahalagaan natin kung ano yung sasabihin ng tao sa atin. So remember, walang sikretong hindi mabubulgar. Number two, we need to be true to the voice of God in ourselves. Kailangan maging totoo po tayo. Alam mo naman, sisters, di ba? Alam naman natin, katulad ko alam, klarong-klaro sa akin na tinatawag naman talaga ako ng Diyos na maging pare, pero hindi ko pinapakinggan. Mas pinakinggan ko yung takot ko. Kadalasan, ganun din po tayo. We are not true to the voice of God. And in the end, we make a false image of ourselves in front of people and we are not true to our authentic self. Come to think of it, hindi naman po tayo masaya kapag meron tayong tinatago sa ibang tao, di po ba? Kapag meron tayong pinoproject na eto ako, pero alam mo yung eto ako sa ibang tao, hindi naman talaga totoo. That's why it is important for us to be true to the voice of God in ourselves. Number three, we need to be reminded that fear of God is much more important than the fear of other people. The gospel said, huwag kang matakot sa pumapatay ng katawan. Kapag napatay ka niya, hanggang doon na lang. Mas matakot ka sa pumapatay ng kaluluwa at pwedeng magdala sa iyo sa impyerno or Gehenna. Fear of God is much more important than fear of man. But in reality, we don't see that way. We're, in a way, have much more fear of what people will say than what God will say. Number four, my sisters and brothers, it is important for us to be true to our authentic self. Now I realize, just imagine, ano kaya nangyari kay Willie? No? Hindi siguro naging Father Willie. Kung naging matigas ang ulo ko at hindi naging matalino si Gerbs, na sinabi niya, bukas lumabas ka, pang! Oo nga pala, mas mahalaga nga pala yung bukasyon ko. Oo nga po, di ba, sisters and brothers? Mas mahalaga ang ating pamilya. And so, in this gospel reading for the day, the Lord is also telling us to have courage. Na huwag kang matatakot. Because God knows us very well, even to the point that He knows the number of the hair strands in your head. Alam niya. Alam niya at sinasabi niya na mas kung pinapakain ko ang mga ibon sa himpapawid, ikaw pa kaya nalilikha ko, nakawangis ko. So never ever have that fear of anything, including what people will say to you, including the suffering that you're supposed to undergo for saying yes to the Lord, or even in facing the truth, because you know that God will always be with you to give you all the necessary graces and strength to be able to face your real identity or your real vocation in life. Nagpapasalamat po ako ng malaki kay Derbs. Sapagkat kung wala po si Derbs, palay ko hindi po ako nandito sa harap niyo na nag-imbisa kasama ninyo. Palay ko, hindi ako mapupunta sa Caloocan, hindi ako mapupunta sa Ateneo de Zamboanga, hindi ako mapupunta sa New Bilibid Prison. Palay ko, hindi ko kayo kilala. Palay ko, hindi ko nakikita ang lahat ng mga biyayang tinatamasa ko ngayon sapagkat at the very beginning, I said no to the will of God because I don't want to suffer. And because of that, I, in a way, decided to run away because of fear. As I have said to you, sisters and brothers, that there are two definitions of fear, which in a way, the first one will in a way bring us to a certain level of duplicity in our life. The first definition is fear, is forget everything and run, and that one will produce duplicity. The second one is much more positive and life-defining. Fear is face everything and rise. Nagpapasalamat ako kay Derbs because I decided to face the 13 years of formation in the Ateneo that I am dreading to face. Alam niyo, totoo, tama ang Diyos. Nung ako'y umuo, yung aking takot na papasaba ako sa Ateneo ng 13 years of study, philosophy, theology, regency. Pero alam niyo, nung umuo ako sa Diyos, yung 13 years, ang bilis. Nung umuo ako sa Diyos, naipasa ko po lahat ng aking mga subjects na kinatatakutan ko. Nung umuo ako sa Diyos, nawala ang takot ko sa New Bilibid Prison, sa Ateneo de Zamboanga. Nung umuo ako sa Diyos, nagulat na lamang po ako. Naging vice president ako for formation sa Ateneo. Nung umuo ako sa Diyos, nagulat na lang ako, naging writer na po ako. I'm actually writing right now my 5th book. Nung umuo ako sa Diyos, nagulat na lang po ako, naging head po ako ng National Youth Day sa Ateneo de Zamboanga. Nung umuo po ako sa Diyos, nagulat na lang po ako, napunta po ako sa Caloocan, sa Jesuit Mission Station. At nung umuo ako sa Diyos, nakakita po ako ng sangkaterbang milagro sa Jesuit Mission Station na hindi ko akalain na kaya namin gawin. Iba talaga ang Diyos. Kaya lang minsan, natatakot tayong harapin ang kanyang pinapagawa. Kasi ayaw natin mahirapan. Ayaw natin magsakripisyo. Ayaw nating isipin kung ano ang iniisip ng Diyos at mas binibigyan natin prioridad ang iniisip ng ibang tao para sa atin. Ang iniisip ng Diyos para sa atin ang mas mahalaga kaysa sa iniisip ng ibang tao. Mas bigyan po natin ng prioridad kung anong iniisip ng Diyos sa atin kaysa sa anong iniisip ng ibang tao sa atin. Maging totoo po tayo sa ating sarili. Kapag tayo po ay nagdodoble cara, we are actually entertaining the reality of this what we call false self. But in the end, this false self is actually nothing. Let's seek our authentic or real self, and this can only be found by listening to the Lord in our own prayer and having that courage to face what God is telling us, even if it's a very, very illogical or mysterious ways of God, just jump. Just trust the Lord. Because in the end, if the Lord has, in a way, have taken good care of all those sparrows, we are much, much more important and precious than sparrows, because the Lord created us in His own image and likeness. Trust the Lord. Everything will be fine. Trust Him. You will see many miracles beyond your expectations.